Hi guys. In October last year, this guy Hawk joined Jase and I on our Discord channel, and
You.
yeah, hey Hawk. And Jase and I have been gaming together since the Division One, which Jase, I don't even know how long ago that was. Like, how old
Yeah,
was the Division
that's
One?
how old is the Division One?
I don't even know.
A
My
year's amount of old.
Well, my memory is like a goldfish, so I have no idea. But I've been gaming with this guy Jace for a long time, and Hawk joined us last year, and ever since then, we've pretty much been on nearly every night. Hey guys, like at least a few times a week.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
most 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 days around about like at least between 3 to 5 times a week.
Yeah, and
Like
even
I'd
sometimes when
say
we're
I'd
playing
say be
different
the
games.
best number. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we've gotten to know each other pretty well, and we often have these huge debates. And at some stage, Hawk suggested that we start a YouTube, or that he would like to start a YouTube channel, or I don't know. Is that what he
YouTube
sort of
or like
suggested?
sort of like YouTube slash podcast really, because that's pretty much like the format in which everybody's going these days with this sort of stuff.
Right, and we even had a concept, right? Like we had a concept of, I don't know, I don't even know how we got onto the topic of reviewers, but we did.
So yeah, so we were talking about I believe we were just talking about I can't. I know you guys. I'm pretty sure we were all playing maybe
We were
Fallout
playing Fallout,
76,
yeah.
or and I also don't know how it entirely came up to it, but we were just talking. I think maybe I was looking at a review or something, or we just happened to end up on it anyway. But we started talking about YouTube reviewers, professional reviewers, and sort of like reviewers, reviews like community reviews in general. And
Yeah, I think we were talking about how they influence people maybe in not the right ways, because we're more end gamers, and we spend a lot of time playing games to a point where uh, we put in way more hours than a reviewer possibly could.
yeah, so I know what we came to was that the problem with, and we were pretty much hyper focused on at this particular point, YouTube reviewers like Angry Joe, and we also talked about like Skill Up
Skill
and
up, yeah.
a few others, and
ACG.
we were yeah, and we were saying stuff like how their reviews generally ended up either being somewhat very vague with like Angry Joe, that there could be a possible bias, and again, Angry Joe came up with particularly division based content because that was like a thing we'll come back to in a bit.
Yeah, sure.
But
I mean,
we
that's
but
a
we
hard
but
game
we
to review, but yeah.
but we also said we also came to the thing is that um, the problem with, and we were talking specifically about live service games, Division, Fallout, Anthem, so on and so forth, is the fact that once they've reviewed it in a week or at least a month,
Hmm.
because it's obviously because it's a live service, it's continuously updating, it's generally
Yep.
getting content, their videos basically just become obsolete. And also because they don't go into the end game reviewing and they don't revisit the game so many years later. But I actually have seen a channel that has done that with a few games. But
Yeah,
um,
that's pretty
the
cool.
problem the problem with
Do
that
do
sort
you
of
remember what those channels were
I can't. In
off the
fact,
top of
I
your head?
can't. Not off the top of my head, no. I
All
did
right.
see a video where he revisited Assassin's Creed, a few of
Right.
the games, so many years later. I'm pretty sure SkillUp did a video where he revisited Division like many years later
Well,
as
he
well.
used to make a lot of Division content and Destiny content too. So he's changed now. He's focusing just on new game reviews now.
But yeah, like obviously the problem with not going super into endgame is that with games like Division, and I imagine Destiny 2 as well, and Fallout, is that the bulk of the game is there, not in like the campaign or anything like that, which
Totally.
can
Like all these
maybe.
games were really horrible at launch, and then they've had time to,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
Division in
fix them over
particular.
time. Yeah.
Well, Division in particular, when it started off, the campaign was pretty nah. It was just, it wasn't there. And
Yeah,
then
people
the
hated
end
it.
game,
Yeah.
and the end game was just revisiting some missions,
Mm.
not really on harder difficulty, but pretty much the end game was just go in the dark zone and start killing people. But going back to Division now, there's just so much to do for so many people. You can be PvPing to get end game content, or you could be getting, or you could just be PvEing, essentially. You
Man,
could
I
be
think
playing
we've jumped the gun here. Like, I think we need to like reintroduce these guys to who you and Jase are, because I'm going to be uploading this on the ZEN channel. So, do you want? Like, maybe we'll take a step back, because I reckon we're getting into juicy stuff straight off the bat.
Yeah, I guess.
So I mean, like, I've met Hawk on Discord last October,
When we started playing Destiny 2.
Destiny 2, yeah, nice. And and it's hilarious. Like, Hawk and I really butt heads. Like, it's just hilarious. We get into such heated debates about like political stuff and everything else but gaming sometimes. And it I don't know. I think like we both kind of agree that that's actually potentially good content.
Yeah,
So
well, like as I said, I pointed out earlier, I was like, I was listening to the Trash Taste podcast, and I was like, the funniest thing is they literally described our arguments and debates, where you'd be a bit chill back and like, honestly, I don't care so much, whereas I'd be going at it hard, going, no, I'm fucking right, and I know I'm right. And even if I'm wrong later, I'll just be like, okay, I guess I was wrong, but I know.
But just for you guys who don't know Hawk, I mean, Hawk is like probably the biggest Star Wars geek that I've ever not met in real life. But like legit, he is hardcore. He's like a walking Star Wars thesaurus, um, and he's a huge anime fan as well. And Jase is someone that I've played Division 1 with, so that was quite a long time ago, and we've somehow managed to still stay in touch. And I have really not much of an idea who you are, Jase. I have no idea what you look like or anything. It's awesome. Like, I think that in this day and age, I think how you've kept your privacy away from me is pretty amazing. So you want
Secret.
Jase, you want you want to have a word?
No, not really. No.
Just
On a
keeping the
lighter
enigma.
note, yeah, that's right. Yes, the release date for Division was March 2016. Zen.
Yeah, you see, that was a long time ago, and like I used to play a lot with a mate of mine, Ved, and Jase used to play a lot with a mate of his, Ricardo, and Division was a 4-player, right? So
Yeah, we
So-
used to meet.
yes.
Usually
we used
meet
to
in the
meet
dark zone.
halfway and like
Yeah.
yeah, right, and we used to like sometimes do some of the hardest content in that game as a foursome, you and Ricardo as good mates and Ved and I as good mates. So it kind of like just
Yeah, I guess that's a funny thing, because that's quite a coincidence, because essentially I was sort of in the same boat with Deep Blue Aussie, my mate who at work, and again I know we met Jason, pretty sure through a legendary mission, and I'm pretty sure it was Madison, or it might have been Warren Gate, but we just seemed to
Yeah,
get
I think
along, and I'm pretty sure
it
we
was
just
Warren
ran.
Gate. It was
yeah,
Warren
I
Gate.
mean, I used to play with a guy called Cat Jones like every single day, and he was in Europe, and I finally actually met him in real life when he came to Sydney a couple of years ago, and it's trippy, it's like it's totally trippy. Like, he was a really old dude, and he was a a war photographer, sports photographer who also curated a gallery of war photography, and he was in Australia to buy war images from someone. So he loves the game for different reasons too. We do. He loves the game because when a flare goes up in the sky, it actually looks like war photography. That's how realistic the game was for him,
Wow.
which is pretty trippy. Like, I think we're just going around shooting shit, but this guy was like, fuck, he feels like it's close to his work, which was the curation of war photography.
Well, that sort of leads into essentially the main thing as to why we're doing this thing, is that fact that when people play games, watch movies, read a book, read a manga, comic book, watch a TV show, people go into it and sort of either go into it or come away with it sort of with differing opinions because they're sort of viewing it in different ways. Some people view hyper focus on graphics or voice acting, action, so on and so forth, and
Sure.
that's obviously one of the big things about this, which is what, like, yeah, I guess, yeah. But
Yeah, no, I
continue.
think you're bang on there. Like, I think we've had discussions about this. Like, all three of us have had discussions about what we get out. I mean, it's interesting because all three of us are playing sometimes the same game, but we're playing it for different reasons, or we're putting different values on different things within the game.
Yeah, and we're also all playing it in very different ways. Like how I would, well, apparently, according to yous, I would just charge in as fast as possible and just
different play
jump in
styles.
the middle and just like try and kill as much as I could. And I
Yes,
remember
you do.
You did that with Destiny. You did it with Fallout. You're like always running in there, and then like if Jason
You
and
did
I
it.
felt like being mean to you on a particular night, we would just not raise you up when you were dead and just leave you there to respawn.
but then Jase, he was like, I'm just gonna stay in the back and just like target and start picking them off. And, you know,
Yeah, Jace is always a sniper. Jace has been the sniper as well in the Division as well, I think.
Yep, Division 2.
well, Ricardo did say that he was the best sniper he had, and I agree with him.
Yes, I was actually annoying Ricardo when I was playing Division.
Mm.
I kept killing all his.
Well, Ricardo was like
enemies.
Hawk. He would always just run in there and
Yeah, but
die
Ricardo
as
is
well.
like Ricardo is Ricardo. I don't know how else to say.
Yeah, Ricardo.
See, Ricardo's a
is-
classic example of someone who he can spend all day, all night on a particular game. And when Division 1 was dead because Division 2 was out, he got to a point where he didn't like Division 2. So we were in this sort of limbo land where we were looking for another game. And Destiny 2 was something that we picked up, but he had one go at it and just wrote a horrible review about the game on Steam.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
and then he
needed to
said he
play it more.
uninstalled.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he said I'm going to uninstall it, and then played it. It was like a couple days
Yeah,
later.
he lied. He lied. He said he uninstalled it, but he lied. But that's the thing. It's like, you know, it goes to show like some people, some games, like it's okay if your mates aren't into it, right? It's not like, I mean, I'll take a step back. It's actually one of the best things about gaming is when you have a crew and you have voice chat. Like I feel really sorry for people who are on like level 700 in Fallout 76 and they've never had what we've had with Discord, a group of people to play with.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I, I'm not sure if it was you guys at Division, but I ended up like essentially, I came in with just the one person. Ended up getting like a couple of like groups, to the point where one person, his name's Nix. Anytime I was not in a group, he would immediately send me a message. Or in fact, even when I just came online, he'd immediately send me a message going, "Me and the boys are going to be doing this. Want to join? What are you up to? Do you want to join this? Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to join?" And I'm just like, "Whoa, dude, calm down."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's
you-
always a thing with online games too. It's like you get to a point where you have too many friends to play with, and certain games only have 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, and it gets pretty weird, right? Like there's potentially a bit of tension there.
It's always a bit. I have to admit, it's always a bit kind of awkward and a bit like
Yeah.
a bit sad when you just like with the new Outriders game, it was just like there's only 3 players, and it was just like, okay, well, there's me, you, and Jase.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it was just like, okay, well, what if Sam and Joker want to
Well,
join?
that's what was cool about Destiny raids though. Like Sam and I got to a point with Destiny where, because you guys go to work full time and Sam and I don't, so we were like, you know, getting to end game territory faster than you guys were. So when Sam and I had a chat about like on Discord, we were like, fuck, let's change clans and let's find a big Australian clan that will take us through raids and stuff. And that's what's nice about that game, is that you can have like a whole lot more players
Yeah.
working on something together. You know, I mean, that is something cool about Destiny 2 for sure. But that kind of never really took off too. Like I kind of got burnt out again. I always get burnt out with that game.
Yeah, but like with with a few other games, Division not included because that game I stopped playing because everyone else did. Like I had like pretty much 0 people left to play with.
You mean Division
Um,
1? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Div 1. With Fallout 76 and Destiny 2, I definitely was pretty much one of the first ones to be jumping the boat or like pulling the pin because I was just like I'm not enjoying it. I was pretty much it was becoming a bit of a chore, and honestly, even though obviously everyone can easily point to me and goes, "You have not done everything." It just
Oh
sort of
yeah,
felt like
sure.
that way to me, to the point where it's just like if I'm doing any more, it just feels like no point because I've already done
Well, that's
something
the
like
thing.
that.
Like, I think you know, I'm on Reddit, Destiny and Fallout channels, and I think it's nearly every second day that someone makes a post about they're feeling burnout and they just don't know what to do anymore in this game, and it feels like maintenance for them. You know, like every day they log in to do what feels like work, and I think that happens to all of us, right? Like, you know, even outside of games, it happens with whatever it is you're into. But
You're talking about the dailies and stuff like that.
yeah, like the repetitiveness. You know, I think like you can't just say you're. I mean, imagine if you were a YouTube channel like Marco Styles or something, and you dedicated all of this career to making YouTube videos on Division 1, and then like you lose passion for it, and where do you go now? It's like I just think like you don't want to be in that situation where you're creating stuff that's making money, but you're not even into it anymore. You know, you keep doing
Yeah.
it for the fans or something, or for the views or something, or for the money or the likes or something, and it's
Well,
like,
then yeah,
you know,
that also becomes a problem because you can't just simply stop doing it, but at the same time, it's like, well, if it's no longer something you're passionate about, then why do you realistically have to keep doing it? And then obviously people go,
w-
well, it's for the fans, and it's just like, yeah, but you know, it just seems a bit
well,
It,
you especially, Hawk, like you've got. I mean, when I checked out your Steam account, your Steam
310
profile,
games.
310 games. Like, so that almost says to me like you've obviously bought 310 games in X amount of time, but there's no fucking way that you've maxed out every single one of those games. Like, there's no way that you would have min-maxed a build in every
how,
single one of those games and stuff.
I
how many
imagine, I
ga-
imagine, I imagine there's games that I've literally played, and in fact, no, there are games I've literally installed, started playing it, and then gone, okay, I'm just not in the mood for this. I'll just
I saw that.
quit out.
You can see the
I'll just
times.
I'll
Like, I
just
can see
quit
a lot of
out.
the games that you've played, you've only played for half an hour.
I'll quit out, and I've gone. I'll come back to that, or
Mm.
I've started a game late, gone. This is really cool. I'm going to make sure to come back to this tomorrow. But then I've just gone. Oh, I do need to play this game, but I'm just like, oh well, I'm sort of in the middle of this, so I'll sort of try and get to this, and then it just naturally backpedals. But then I also have games where I've gone. I really want to play this game, and I'll get it now because it's on special, and I will get to it, and then it just sits there.
That's almost like a reflection of our current times, because like you know, like Jace and I are of a more similar age, and Hawk is younger, but it's like if we were to watch a movie back in the day, Jace, we would buy a movie ticket, and then because you bought the ticket, you were invested, and then you sat there from start to end, whether it was a shit film or not. Whereas now
yeah, I
you've got
wouldn't.
like Netflix, and it's like, fuck, you can just watch a film like a quarter way in and just go, this sucks.
Uh,
I'm
Turn
gonna
it off.
doze
Yeah.
off.
Yes, yes, but unfortunately, I'm
You're
not that I'm not that young, and
no, but
because of my upbringing, as in like the surroundings in which I was, the whole like Netflix thing and all the convenience of that sort of stuff
yeah,
didn't actually come to me till I was like, 18 years old plus. Um, so I was pretty much like sort of in the same boat where it was a case of like I had to decide, is it this movie or is it this movie? This is what I'm going to be investing my time with. And I sort of have brought that. I still have that. In fact, I 100% have that mentality nowadays, which is why I hate adverts so much.
Very cool.
Because to me,
Who doesn't?
it's
I
a
mean,
case.
who loves them? No one does.
Yeah, but no, to me, it's a case of if I'm watching an episode or a movie or something like that,
Mm.
I am saying to myself, I'm going to be putting X amount of time aside of my day to sit down and watch this episode or this particular show, and I'll do that. And I just find that going into in a fucking 5 minutes ad break just becomes just not.
But we had
It
no
breaks
option.
up the
That's all. Back
pacing.
in the day, you had no choice. It's like if you wanted to watch X Files, you only had it once a week at a specific
I
time
yeah,
slot, and you had ads, and there's nothing much you could do about it.
I was the same. I was before I yeah, I was before the whole like where I grew up it was called Sky Plus, but
I mean,
here
who
it'd be
even
called
watches TV anymore?
Oh no, a lot of people do watch TV.
Hmm.
But it's not just TV, it's YouTube. It's
Yeah, no, that
it's
yeah, but television
it's
with like those, like, you know, the ads are really loud. I remember the ads were louder than the show that you're watching.
oh no, I know my parents do that. My parents do watch still watch TV with ads
TV,
in it.
yeah.
I personally I just can't stand it. I just don't like watching something I like and then it's just like and then it just stops and it's just this ad I've seen like 100 billion times. And it's just like you just honestly you're just being counterintuitive here because you stopped the show and are showing me this ad makes me want to buy it even less.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And that's the same way I feel about ads on Facebook and Instagram. I'm like, I feel like commenting saying how fucked the ad is, but when I do, I get even more spam. So I don't even comment.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, no,
yeah, like being honest though, like I think like when I was a kid and I had like Commodore 64 or Sega Mega Drive, like I had a shit ton of games that I just couldn't pass a certain level. Like there was no Google or YouTube to help me pass a certain level. So I probably only played those games for half an hour and never touched them again either because I couldn't get any further. So there was a bit of that even back then.
I was just the same with some of my PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games. There's just certain parts I just couldn't get past, and and honestly, at that time, I wasn't really too big into gaming either. I just wanted to go outside and play with my friends at that point.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. Like as a kid, I used to always skate and play on the streets, but like I'm pretty sure now kids just come home and play games. Well, a lot of them do.
I mean, nowadays, definitely, but that's sort of like for some of them, it's not a choice. But yeah, you'll definitely have like your Call of Duty, your Battlefield, your FIFA. Those are the games where it's all online stuff, which is something where sort of consoles, not PCs, but consoles are really going towards, which is pretty much like.
The cool thing about consoles, like with Sony's and stuff, they come with that little earbud, and you do have like the console comes with voice chat, which I still really highly value. Like we wouldn't be doing this unless we had Discord, right? So I really value that
Yeah,
that
but
more
the
human
problem,
interaction of having someone. I mean, I get it that like some people are just addicted to games without talking to anybody, but like I think there is a bit more merit, and games are playing that many games and playing games for that long is has more merit when you're actually talking to another human being.
oh well, honestly, it's just sort of what comes from the conversation. When I
Right.
first played Div 1, I honestly stopped playing at like level 17 in the game. I got so bored of it because I was just playing on my own and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I came back to it with my friend Deep Blue Aussie,
Mm.
we were just playing. It was just the two of us playing from start to finish. I was making a new character. It was such a better experience.
100%.
And honestly, it's even if it's a bad game, to be honest, or a mediocre game, if you're playing with a person and you're having such a great time,
Yeah,
like
you
just
mentioned this
chatting,
quite
making
often.
jokes,
Yeah.
bantering or anything like that.
Yeah, you're
Like,
definitely, as an individual, you're more into multiplayer games than single player.
Co-op
Co-op,
specifically.
sorry, yeah, co-op, yeah.
But yeah, no, it can just turn like a pretty mediocre or bad game into something that's just so memorable.
I mean, that's what I find. Like, I mean, us three, we talk about almost everything but gaming when we're gaming. You know, we
Yeah,
talk
that's
about,
funny.
like, you guys will talk about the shit day that you guys had at work. And you guys will complain about that, and I'll just like sit there and chill and let you guys get it off your chest. But then, like, we'll talk about like what was for dinner. We always talk about food. You guys
What's
are
for
always making me
dinner?
hungry. Jace is always talking about bacon.
Bacon and eggs.
Bacon. Just bacon, no eggs. No eggs required, just the bacon.
Fuck, I did a food shop the other day and I forgot to order bacon. It's so bad.
How can you
And
forget to
How
order
can you
bacon?
forget to
I
order
know,
bacon?
right? I
Gee.
know,
That's
right? Come
item
on, come
number
on.
1 on the list.
It's all good. It's all good. I can live with just eggs, guys. I'm like bachelor lifestyle. But like
Bachelor lifestyle is bacon and eggs, man.
yeah, bachelor lifestyle. Bachelor lifestyle is, you know, is translated into more bacon. Bacon for life.
More
I reckon
meat.
bacon's overrated like Star Trek is. I mean, I did you like my segue?
Yeah, I got that. Just let's go into Star Trek.
No, we skipped Star Wars because Star Wars is like an episode on its own. But
Okay,
I kind of wanted to buzz you guys about Star Trek tonight because you guys are both into it. Like, I know you both watch it, and you both know it. It's like, I only know the Hollywood films, like the first one,
Movies,
maybe
yeah.
the second one, maybe. All I
First
know
one
is
sucks.
as a kid, I used to just watch it on TV, and it'd be a bunch of guys in like a room, and the room was meant to be
Talking.
like the cockpit or whatever, and they'd just be talking, and I'd be sitting there like, my attention span would have been super short as a kid, and I just flicked the channel because all they were doing was sitting in this room talking all the
Just a
time.
brief. Well, just to cut
It's
in
almost like if you
briefly.
flick the channels and then the Star Trek was on, you'd see them all sitting in that fucking room talking to each other. They like, I'm like, where's the action? Where's the shooting and
The
war and
action was
stuff?
the room moving when when they were getting hit and everything.
The action was when they were like, "How dare you!" and they slammed their
So
hand, and you'd be
no,
like,
I just and then there was a hand signal that people would
"No,
do, or was
no,
that a
yeah,
different show?
you're talking about
you're talking about Spock.
they're
You're talking about
Vulcans.
Spock's. Yeah, you're talking about Spock's hand, like when they said, "Live long
Yeah.
and
So
prosper."
I remember in high school, some guys would like do that, and I'd be like, "Oh fuck, you're a
Really?
Trekkie." Yeah. So I mean,
Definitely.
honestly, like since the '80s, I've never understood it. So I thought it'd be a
Well, the
great
thing,
opportunity because it's 2 against 1, which, you know, I've got a big mouth, so it's good to have 2 against 1. But I just thought it'd
well,
be a great opportunity to talk about it because I really don't fucking get it.
well, okay. So the first thing is that when I was a kid, my dad would watch. I usually see him watching Voyager most of the time, but sometimes I'd see him watch Enterprise, and this wouldn't be what
So
he'd
what's the
usually be
difference
watching.
between Voyager and Enterprise?
2 different series that were made like 20 years apart, weren't they?
Right, fair, cool.
Yeah, about
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So as a kid, I just couldn't. I just thought it was so boring. It was the
Right.
majority of the
So
time.
you're the same as me then. I thought it was boring too.
Yeah, it was just there was no action. It was just them
Talking.
walking around, talking, interacting with people, and even when it did get to the action, it just wasn't cool in any way because it was just like this beam of light that was just sort of like ridiculous. From what I remember from when I was a kid, I just sort of like thought this is stupid, like this is really dumb. And I just walked away, and I'm just like, Star Wars is clearly so much better. Space battles, blasters, lightsabers,
100%.
action.
It's more sellable, isn't it? It's cool, just
And
cooler. Is Star Trek cool?
Star Trek isn't cool. It's interesting.
No, Star Wars beats it. Like
Yes.
Like Star Trek is not cool, right?
Star Trek isn't cool. I just
Star
call it.
Trek's Star Trek.
I just
So
think
what is
Star
it
Trek.
then? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So it's like, if it's not
It's
cool, then like,
it's intriguing, it's interesting, it's sort of what we could be experiencing in the future, but obviously not to that sort of degree, because there's obviously, as I said earlier when we were talking about, when I sort of went into the whole gravity thing, and then Jay sort of owned me, that I was still right.
so is it like, I don't get
Is
it, because like National Geographic is educational, but it's fucking cool too, you know?
yeah, but but if you watch it, you're talking like
It's
some
mind
people
blowing, you
are,
know, when you're watching like fucking
yeah, but
Attenborough,
you look
like
at you, yeah, but
it's
you're
mind
looking at like,
blowing.
yeah, but you're looking at like diverse cultures as well, like how the Federation, the Ferengi, the Kardashians, the Bajorans, the Dominions, like how like drastically different they can be. You know, the Federation are all like peaceful, like into philosophy and everything. The Ferengi
So
are
what
just
is it? Is it the writing? Is it the writing, or is it the world they're creating that is in,
it's
interesting?
to me it's intriguing, because this is essentially what we could be. Obviously it could be nitpicked apart to the point of like, because it's like it's science fiction, so a lot of it's made up, but it's something that could be like that, essentially, where we're
In the
talking
future.
about, yeah, non-interference clauses. We don't just go down to a planet where
Like obviously they have.
where they're in the medieval period of time, and we're just like, listen guys, do you want to be out of the shithole? Do you want to get out of this, this runt of what you're in? Because this is a terrible era. We lived through this entire thing.
This
We'll
is where
just give
that
you this.
time travel stuff comes in.
It's not time travel.
Oh,
It has
okay.
nothing to do with time travel. It's
They
just
go and
like,
they go and visit different.
yeah, they visit a different planet. So
Yeah.
we're extremely technologically advanced. We've gone to a planet there in the medieval era of their civilization, or what we'd approximate to that. And we've gone, look, guys, this is a terrible period. We're just going to boost you to where we are. Obviously, the problem is the fact that it could backlash so
Yeah.
much.
That's what
And
happened in
But they're good
one of the
people.
episodes in
Like,
Generation.
but that's the thing. Like, Star Trek's meant to be like, obviously, then you watch it because everyone in that ship is someone that is like a saint, almost like they're good people, right? So you trust in them to make the right decisions or whatever.
Well, they're not necessarily saints, because they have flaws. Worf has a lot more violent tendencies. Jadzia Dax is a gambler and a drinker. Cisco bends the rules. Julian is genetically enhanced, which was illegal. O'Brien has definitely broken the rules. So literally across all of them, you'll have them that they break rules. They do their sort of own stuff. In fact, Janeway even refers to Spock and what's his name, Spock and Kirk, their era as being like the Wild West, as in they'd sort of make their own rules. They'd go guns a blazing, and they were like, and she said those two would not last in today's Federation. And like you do see like a stark contrast when you watch the original and if you were to watch Voyager, because when you watch the original, you literally have them going out to planets, they're interacting, they're leaving it captured and discovered, and then they'll have to break out and then get back to their ship or sort of solve the problem. Whereas in Voyager, it's not really the same. It's completely different.
Well, I mean, I didn't think the movies were bad, like but I mean, Hollywood films are all. I mean, action.
Okay,
So
just to clarify, which movies you talk
I
about? The
already the
original,
first one, yeah, the first one, I only watched
or
the first two.
are you talking about the first one of the new
Yeah,
trilogy or the
yeah.
original 10?
No, the first Hollywood big
Oh, so you're
blockbuster
talking about
film.
Chris Pine.
It just started off and it was like it was a dogfight and it looked like Star Wars, and it was
Oh yeah, the new movies were definitely a lot more action packed. It's
yeah.
definitely something that a lot more people can get into. Like if you were to watch Wrath of Khan and then the second Star Trek movie, which is clearly what it's based on, I personally enjoyed the remake because Wrath of Khan is definitely a lot more dull in comparison. There's not a lot of action. It's generally a lot more philosophy and adversarial sort of stuff. Whereas in the new movie, it's all like they're literally blasting and everything like that. As in, they literally go to the world of Kronos and they're literally having like this massive fight with all these Klingons, and it was so cool to watch.
See, the funny thing is, like, I'm not a Trekkie, right, at all, but I know Spock, I know Beam Me Up, Scotty, and I know Klingons and stuff. But like, fuck, I don't know anything about Star Trek. But it's obviously still part of popular culture. But then, like,
Yeah,
Star Wars, just everyone fucking knows Star Wars. Like, everyone does. Even if you don't know Star Wars, you know. I mean, there is some sort of like Star Trek versus Star Wars, but it's not exactly like Holden versus Ford. Like, it's so off skew, right? Like, there's
yeah, but just to go on an example with your whole like everyone knows beam me up Scotty, live long and prosper, the hand sign. It's a lot of the same with JoJo. Like not a lot of people will be like, I know what that is,
What's
but they'll be
JoJo?
like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I don't even know.
It's just an example, but like they'll know, or in fact Dragon Ball, they'll know it's over 9,000.
Yeah.
But no, JoJo were the literally like memes about it and everything like that. But then when you're like, oh well, did you like part one? And they're like, what are you talking about? And it's like, part one, Jonathan Joestar. Who? And you're like, the stone masks. What stone masks? And it's like, why are you memeing all these JoJo things if you're not? But it's the same as Star Trek. It's like you get the beam me up Scotty, live long and prosper.
Well, Hawk, I mean, both of you actually, Jason, Hawk, you're both like Star Trek and Star Wars fans. So it's not like one versus the other, right? It just, there is no comparison.
Well, obviously you do have the big fan base and the big clash, and then you have the middle ground that essentially me and Jase are a part of. Obviously, everyone will say I'm a fan of both, but I prefer, like, I'm a fan of both, or necessarily, yeah, I'd say I'm a fan of both, but I'd say I'm a bigger fan of Star Wars, and that's obvious apparent to you two, considering. And just a side note on that, because we'll segue, because I was trying to bring that up earlier. Someone did say that if I talked about Star Wars for over an hour, they'd slap me. So.
Oh fuck, man! If you when you talk about it for 10 minutes, I want to slap you, bro. Like, you're just so into it that, like, I don't even understand what you're talking about 10 minutes in.
Well, me and my friend did have like a debate about a junta Paul.
Like, I've said time and time over like since October, I've said time and time again, man, if you met a girl that was as much into Star Wars as you were, it'd be ridiculous.
I'd like to meet her.
Yeah, but
I mean, my good friend Anami, she's an amazing artist. She's so into Star Wars. She's way more into it than I do. She does what you do. Like, once a year, she'll watch all the original films, and she can't help but buy every time she sees something Star Wars that's fucking cool for her house, she'll buy it. And she even makes artwork. I mean, her artwork is mostly Japanese inspired.
Okay, but from the two things
make artwork.
Yeah, but from the two ideal things that you said that I'd find for an ideal girl is that she'd have to be a massive Star Wars fan, and that she'd have to be good and that she'd have to be good at debating.
she'd have to be okay with you debating.
Of me just going in the room. This is what we're going to talk about. We're debating this. She's like, Jesus Christ. Okay, this again.
Oh, look,
I think a junta Paul. I told you this last night.
I mean, we talked about that before starting this podcast, but we did talk about, like, there's some things that we talk and debate about, like the BLM movement or politics and all this kind of stuff, that we wanted to just not talk about during this show.
We're not gonna go into that atmosphere. So we're
it's
gonna
not worth it. Like, I just don't think. Like, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's like I said, it's nice for us to have that Discord to talk shit while we're gaming and not feel like we're being recorded and we can't say exactly what we're thinking. Like, I think that's still important to have.
Yeah, but as I said, I think we can make sort of like comments, not like as in like go into it, but just say like this has become so and so, and then just keep going and move on from that, not go into like this is why it's like this, but just sort of go like the new Star Wars is bad because it's very woke, it's very SJW, but I'm not going to go into like all the reasons as to why that is. But
Oh man, that was a great topic. Like we spent a few days talking about that kind of stuff. Like just
we
how
talked about so much about that.
Yeah, because like the comics that we loved have been made into Netflix series, and they've just gone and outright changed a whole shit ton of stuff. I
Well,
mean, look, that
it's in the
we could save that for a future episode. But I mean, I think you know it's been a really good start to this. Like we talked about this before even pressing the record button, but the
Well, it's
three of us
definitely
don't
something
have
that
any
we did need to.
expectations for this, you know, like we just thought, hey, let's just do it rather than talk about it, which I think is cool, you know, like we can talk about reviewers reviewing games, but it's also just cool that we've actually just like just all gone in and thought, hey, let's just do it. I think with future episodes of this show, like we have no plans at all.
Our only plan, in fact, we do sort of have a plan. The only plan is to like pick a topic of a game, a movie, a TV, or whatever it is, like what we all agree on.
Or
And sort
what
of
we talk
like,
about during the week, you know, like I think we're on Discord. We don't know what we're going to talk about next week,
yeah, it's
you
just
know.
quality content.
But I mean, I'm glad that you brought up that SJW stuff, because I mean, honestly, that does come into gaming. Like it is in gaming now.
It's
It's
just in
in.
culture in general, really.
I don't even know if I'm calling it the right thing, but it's just like the political aspect of certain movements are definitely influencing gaming, and
Infringing on gaming and everything is becoming a movement that's because that it's just getting into media as a whole, really. But
yeah, and we talk about like how you're a huge Star Wars fan, but then like all the Disney Star Wars stuff is, you've made it clear that like a lot of the hardcore diehard fans are really upset about the direction it's going in. And it's almost like, well, as a franchise, do you satisfy the fans or do you satisfy people that aren't fans yet? You know, like it's
which is what a lot of people pointed out, where they said that they seem to be satisfying people. They didn't seem to be satisfying the fans who will be spending the thousands of dollars on collectibles, every sort of thing.
yeah.
But they're trying to appeal to this movement that um, they might not even pay. But we digress. Let's try and not, because I feel like what we're going to do is we're sort of going to accidentally divulge into this topic.
Oh, look! I don't think we're doing that now, but I think I'm just kind of like going to wrap this up. But like, I wanted to talk about what we're potentially going to be talking about in future episodes, and I think there's a lot of scope. Like, we haven't narrowed anything down yet. Like, I think we met through gaming, and when we game, we talk about life, and I think there's going to be a bit of both. Like, there's going to be a bit of gaming talk, and there's going to be a bit of life talk as well. I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting, because like as we were talking about when we were just testing this before the audio, it's gonna start off with bullet point number one. So let's say the next episode's about control the game. We're going to talk about it, but then it'll probably naturally just progress onto something else, and whatever that might be.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a meal, it might just be a game, or it might just end up being like some kind of comic book that's sort of related to it. But it's going to probably be another topic entirely.
Fuck,
But
I'd love to talk about food with you guys, because we have us three have really different opinions on food, and we talk about food all the time. But like definitely, like I think the stuff that we talk about during the week while we're gaming could potentially be cherry picked for the next episode. So I don't think we're ever going to run out of things to talk about. There's no doubt
I wouldn't say
about it.
cherry picked would be the right word for that. Is when you say cherry picked, you're just like, when you say
Just
cherry
the good
picked, I just
bits.
I
Yeah,
imagine
yeah,
someone
yeah,
just
yeah.
be going like this. Jase said something about somebody being gay. And it's just like, well, what are you talking about? It's like, this conversation happened 2 days ago. I'm just
Shit,
cherry
now,
picking.
now it's starting to sound a lot more like Discord.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've seen everyone's nipple except for Jace's. Like I said, Jace is the ninja, man. Jace is the ninja of the group.
He's the enigma. I'm Hawk. So I'm clearly Hawk the geek. Just Zen, you're clearly Zen the artist, and Jase is Jase the enigma.
Jace the enigma. Nah, it's all good. Well, look, I reckon we'll wrap it up. I think it's been a really good little sesh. I think it's a good way to kick off our channel, or
So now
maybe
we
it's
all
not
gonna,
channel, but at least our show.
and now we're all gonna listen to it tomorrow and just be like, oh god, I hate my voice. It's just
I
so
fucking
bad.
hate my voice too, man. I think like ever since I had a tape recorder, I've hated my voice.
Oh no, just like you're just critiquing it. Just like we're on Discord tomorrow. Just like minute 42. Second 14, I was talking about this. I can't believe I was doing this. I embarrassed myself. And it's just like, dude, calm down.
Oh, look, just wait till you get nasty YouTube comments. I mean, that's
I honestly don't care
my
about
life.
them.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah, but that was funny. Yeah, but funny thing about that was also, well, sort of jumping to reviews. That was also something
Right.
that was big into community reviews things, is the fact that, yeah, he or she are saying this nasty comment, but that might just be them doing it for laughs, for trolls, like some guy
Oh,
saying,
of course, man. Yeah.
like
Oh,
some
look,
guy saying,
anytime you put yourself out there, you're gonna you potentially get some negative shit from people who get off on that. Like I just think, but like I said before, like I think it's good to be doing something rather than nothing. Like I've personally I've always been into putting it out there rather than like just sitting there thinking about it, thinking about
yeah,
doing it.
but
So this is our first episode. It's like I think us three are on the same page in that like we don't really care whether this gets out there, if anyone listens to this or not. The idea is that we had an idea and we're doing it and we've done it. Like, well, not done it yet. I haven't uploaded it, but
we haven't done it. Well,
but
no, we haven't
it's
even
still
like sort of gone. This is more just an introduction to like what it's going to be, not so much what it is, but
yeah.
it's sort of like half of what we're gonna do, sort of. Like I'd say.
Well, look, I think it's open ended and we'll see where it goes. But I think
Oh my god, I just had to stop myself there, because when you said it's open ended, I was gonna make a comment.
I think eventually it will get more like our Discord. And honestly, I think if people listened into our Discords, they would love a shitload
I think
of
if
the
people
heated
listen to it in our
debates we get
Discord,
into.
some people would just be like, I'm just gonna leave. I don't want to talk to you guys anymore.
I think even a couple of weeks ago, like I came down really hard on you. I think I was a bit drunk that night, and I was like, "Fucking told you off." But I mean, hey, I love that. I love
Told me off for what?
I don't remember. I think I told you off for like just wanting to debate for debate's sake.
Oh, I thought you were joking, but because like that whole Sam thing, when he's just like, oh well, according to you, he was being a bit malice about that, and I was just like, I
Oh,
was
about the
taking it as a joke.
Destiny stuff. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to
I
get
didn't
Sam.
even.
We'll have to get Sam on at some point too. But Sam loves Destiny, and like if if we all three of us
Sam
were sort of
loves Destiny is an understatement.
yeah, but all three of us suggesting that we weren't kind of going to get back into it. He got a bit defensive, but I mean that's Sam. So we'll get him on
I
the show at
I
some
did
point.
I
And
did I did like the idea of getting back into it, but then like
yeah,
I was like I'm pretty sure you guys can just boost me, but then somebody said to me, I'm pretty sure it was you, Zen, that was just like, yeah, but you're gonna have to do all this stuff again, and it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah,
a long road to do this. And I was just like,
yeah.
I honestly just don't have the time to do that sort of stuff at the
Well,
moment.
you do, because you're a gamer. You do have the time, but it's whether you are going to enjoy it or not. That's all it is. Like you'll still put that time that you've got spare into another game or something. But whether you want to go from like level 100 to 150 or whatever, it's that's the tough call, whether you have fun or not. I think you hit the nail on the head earlier in this discussion. You know,
Well,
I don't
that's the
think
whole point.
I don't think these proper service-based games, they're not really pay to win. So you can't like take half a year off and then like give them $50 so that you can be on the same level that everyone that's been playing every day for like 10 hours a day. It's just that's kind of what we're talking about here.
Well, I don't, because I get that's the whole point in games. It's just to have like the enjoyment. Yeah, sure, you could be like, I'm doing it for the commitment of my friends and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, what's the point in doing that if you're not enjoying yourself? Because I do know a person who was like, I'm sick of playing Division 2. And I'm like, well, why you keep playing it? It's like, because more of my friends are playing it.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
okay.
I mean, that's understandable too. I mean, you know.
Oh no, it's understandable,
but at
I'm
some point
definitely,
he'll drop off. He better.
oh,
like, he'd be better off.
you know, he eventually did. He eventually did, but I think that's
Yeah.
because his friends also naturally progressed. But I correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely just see myself as a person. I'm just like, yeah, cool. You guys keep playing. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm cool. I'll keep talking to you guys, but I'll go do something else because I'm not playing something that I don't enjoy.
Yep. Yeah, you're definitely that. I mean, Jason and I are a little bit more committed, I think, to games than you are in that regard, into the end game. You know, I think it's obvious with your like 300 plus games. Like, I don't think Jase. How many games do you have, Jase, on Steam?
100 and something.
You got a lot too. Maybe I don't even know how many I have, but
I have a friend on Steam. I was like 500, so 500
yeah.
plus, and like the guys with like the max levels of
147.
like
147. Yeah, that's a lot, Jace. But Jace,
No.
you're more of the kind of player that I know you're more the kind of player that like
I've
put the
been
hours
to
in.
every end of every game.
Yeah, you see that you're a completionist. Well, not completionist as in like every freaking trophy or whatever, but you do get your money's
Depends
worth.
on what game it is.
Yeah.
If I'm into it, I'll do everything.
Yeah, that's
If I'm
cool.
not.
Yeah.
But most of the games you get the trophies anyway, so.
Yeah, or sort of organically, yeah.
One thing I never really got into was EVE Online.
Yeah,
no,
I've
neither
heard
did
about
I.
it. I've heard about it. But guys, look, we can go on and on. I reckon we'll wrap that up. I'll probably hit stop recording in a second. But look, we don't have an outro. We didn't have an intro either. So I think
Peace
we'll
out.
get there over
No.
time.
We
Peace
don't
out,
have
like, young out.
we don't have a song yet.
We don't have a song.
Fine. I'm Hawk and I'm flying the coop.
All right. Well, that's it. I'm not gonna say anything. We'll just leave it
Definitely
at that.
flying away, yes.
But look, anyone who actually made it this far, get a life. Seriously, no.
Wow. Wow.
No, but anyone who made it this far,
that's-
like seriously, I think there's going to be more to come.
Why don't you just put at the end of the video, just like, if you still at the end of the video, here you go, it's just a picture of a middle finger. Fuck you
No, I
at
think
the
it'll just
bottom of
be a
it.
photo of your tits, Hawk. It'll be a photo of your tits, and then if you maybe only like blurred out. So if you want to see it uncensored, make sure you catch
But that's
episode 2.
just like the rule. That just seems to be like the rule of a Discord because of you. Like, every photo you send is just some chick with her nipples out. It's just
Hey! All right, now we're getting off topic. All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. That's been awesome. I shall see you guys on Discord.
Chat.
All right.
Catch ya.
Out. See ya.